Hello, everyone. Apologies if you were trying to join the workshop with me live this morning. Facebook was having quite a few problems this morning. So although you could see me, there just wasn't any sound. So I decided, well, there's no point doing it, was that you couldn't hear what I was saying. So I came off Facebook and I jumped on and I've recorded the workshop for you. So here now you will find the workshop as I would have taught it live with you this morning. So hope you will enjoy it, get your mat out and take part. Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all okay and that you are looking forward to joining in with me and doing a little routine for beginners this morning. So in this workshop today, we're going to find out who this workshop is for to start with, okay? And then I'm going to take you through some of the exercises. We're going to talk about what Pilates can help you with. And then right at the very end, I've got a big announcement because today I am launching my brand new movement and mobility introductory course. So if you enjoyed today's session and you want to find out a little bit more about it, then wait until the end and I'll just share that with you just at the end. Okay, so shall we dive straight in? So who is this workshop for? Well, it's for you if you are a complete beginner. If you've never done Pilates before, this is going to be ideal for you this morning because I'm going to show you some of the nice basic exercises to get you started. Now, maybe you've done Pilates in the past. Maybe it's been some time. Maybe you feel like you've just forgotten some of the basics and you feel like you need a bit of a recap. So this session is a good one to kickstart you back into Pilates again. Okay. Now you also might be the person who has a few niggly aches and pains. Maybe you've got problems or tension or stiffness in the shoulders, problems with the lower back. Maybe you just feel very achy at times, you suffer with a lot of stiffness, and you just want to be able to move easier, feel more supple, more stretched. Then this is the workshop for you as well. As I said before, they're going to be nice, gentle, basic exercises to introduce you to Pilates and get you started. So, what do you need to join in with me? Well, you need something to lie on. So you need a mat. If you haven't got a mat, I normally suggest a couple of bath towels or something like that. Make it a bit more comfier on the floor for you. You'll also need a towel. So I usually use a hand towel. And you'll also need a cushion, okay? You might need one, you might need two. See how you go, okay? So that's what you'll need for today's session. Okay, I've just realised I forgot my towel, but I'll be okay. I think I can manage without it. Okay, so that's all that you need to take part. Now I've got my list of things to tell you because I've just got so much I want to share with you, and I don't want to forget any of it. So I think I've told you some of that actually. But what I think I'm going to do is I made a list last night because a lot of people don't realise what Pilates can actually help with. Okay, so I made a list of some of the things that Pilates can help with. That's it. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't read that. Okay, there was a lot more, but that's the list that I made last night. I just wrote a few down. Okay, and I'll just point at a few of these out. Some of the ones that are more important, or the ones that maybe people don't often realise. Well, some of them are quite common, and I get asked all the time. So Pilates is really good for muscular and joint problems. Pilates is really gentle on the joints. There's no high impact exercises. When you get to a certain age, you don't want to be jumping about doing aerobics. I've done that in the past. That's not something I want to do anymore. I want something that's more gentle, but it's also really effective. It's still going to work my muscles. It's going to make them stronger, but it's also going to help me to support those joints without putting any extra stress and strain on them. Low energy levels, I've put that on. That's quite an interesting one when it comes to motivation. A lot of people tell me that they just don't feel like it today. They just haven't got the energy for it. And the interesting thing is that Pilates, any sort of exercise, really. But if you do some exercise, do some Pilates, it actually boosts your energy levels, okay, which is surprising because sometimes you think, oh, I'm not going to feel even more tired after I've done a workout. But actually, you feel quite good after a workout. You feel like you've got more energy, more get up and go for the day, which is why I normally recommend doing Pilates at the beginning of the day, and you've got loads of energy to get you through the rest of the day. Hip and knee problems is a big one. See lots of people with hip and knee problems. Lots of people come to me with knee or hip replacements. Get a lot of people with arthritis in that area as well. So the exercises are gentle enough that you can keep those joints mobile, keep them moving without them stiffening up. And like I said earlier, without putting any stress on those joints. Strengthening the core, those abdominal muscles. I get so many people say I need to strengthen my core. Usually the reason for that is because people are having problems with their lower back. So if you want to strengthen your lower back so that you're more supported, then we need to look at strengthening those core muscles. The one thing that people don't realize is that it can help lower your risk of developing age-related health problems. And the ones that I put here, osteoporosis, heart disease, and diabetes are just the three of them. The last one on my list, menopause. Okay, so if you reach that age, you might find that you're starting to get more aches, pains, more stiffness than you did. Okay, so just regular movement, regular Pilates is going to help with that as well. Okay, so that's just, I just wanted to just tell you about that briefly so that you know the type of things that Pilates can help with. And maybe that you're one of them. You're one of those people that has that stiffness and that tension and those aches and pains in your body, and you would really love to find a way of reducing them, so that you don't wake up every morning with a stiff back or a pain in the shoulder. Okay, now you might be one of those people that feel perfectly fine. You've got no aches and pains and you're just here because you want to learn how to do Pilates, and that is fantastic. Okay, so for you and for everybody really, if you're starting Pilates now, regardless of where you are, you can think of Pilates as a long-term solution to keeping you more active, mobile, fit, and healthy. So if you adopt an active lifestyle now, you'll find that it will help you transform the way you feel physically and mentally in the years to come. So regular exercise, regular Pilates is really beneficial. But the important thing to remember is Pilates doesn't need to be an intense workout. It can be if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that intense workout. It doesn't need to be an hour session every day. You can do 5 to 10 minutes every day. You can do 20 minutes every 2 or 3 days. You can fit it into your lifestyle. As long as you are consistent and you do it regularly, it's going to benefit you in some way. Right, now I know you're itching to get started. Okay, so let's make a start. We're going to start in standing. Okay, so what we'll do is I like to make sure that we're set up and we're standing up nice and tall before we start. So the first thing I want you to do is to stand with your feet together. Now, we want the feet hip width ideally, so I want you to fan your heels out and then your toes. Okay, so your feet and knees should be about hip width now. Now, I want you to imagine that you're standing up as tall as you possibly can. So feel like you're lengthening up through the spine. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. And then just soften into the knees a little bit, just a little bend. So we want to be standing up as tall as we can with a good posture, because if we exercise with good posture, then it will encourage our body to maintain that good posture. So we're going to start with a warm-up, okay? So I think we'll just start with warming up the shoulders. We're just going to do some nice shoulder rolls. So here we go. We're just going to roll the shoulders round. Nice big circles. Rolling them around. Taking those shoulders all the way to the ears as far as you can, and then we'll change direction. We'll take them back round the other way. Wonderful. Okay, let's relax the shoulders down there. Let's float the arms. So we're just going to float the arms up in front. So we're going to bring them up to shoulder height and then lower them back down. and then float the arms up and float them back down. So we're doing the warm-up because it's important that we're warm before we get down onto the mat and do our exercises there. We want to make sure that the muscles are warm so that we're less likely to pull a muscle and hurt ourselves when we come down to the mat. Okay, let's just bring the hands down onto the hips this time. Now, let's warm the legs up and the knees a little bit. So we're going to do a little knee bend. It's only a small one. You're going to keep your feet flat on the floor, and then all you're going to do is just bend into the knees and then stand tall. As simple as that. Bend into the knees and stand up tall. So we're not looking for a deep bend, okay, just a little one. Okay, so if you can only go a little bit, that's fine. Okay, down to the knees and stand tall. So this exercise, all of these are standing. It's a nice little warm-up routine that you can do any time before you come down onto the mat. But also, if you wanted some mobility exercises in the morning, just to loosen things up a bit, all of these exercises are great. You could pick your favorites, you could pick 2 or 3, or you could just do the whole sequence if you wanted to watch this again, okay? So I think we'll leave that one there. We'll add those arms in, shall we? So let's put the arms and legs together. So we'll bend the knees and we'll float the arms up in front, and then we'll stand tall. We'll float the arms in front and stand tall. And again, float the arms and stand tall. That's it. Okay, last one, and then we'll stand up nice and tall. Now let's just check that posture again. Make sure that you're standing up nice and tall. Okay, imagine now that you've got a thread coming out the top of your head, and it's lengthening you even further up to the ceiling. So you're standing up as tall as you possibly can. Okay, so we've warmed the shoulders up a little bit, warmed the legs and the knees up a little bit. Let's warm the spine up a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of a rotation. Now, what we're going to do on this rotation, these hip bones at the front, you've got to keep them pointing forwards. Okay, so you've got laser beams coming out of your hip bones. You've got to keep those laser beams pointing forwards. Cross the arms, and then we're going to rotate round to the left. So the hips stay facing forwards as we rotate from the waist up. Then we go the other way. So we rotate the other way, and then we come back to center. And then we go the other way, and we come back to center. Wonderful. So laser beams are pointing forwards. So we've got to keep the pelvis fixed so that we can get a nice little bit of rotation going on through the spine. So this is warming the spine up a little bit. It's creating a little bit more movement in the lumbar spine. So it's important that you don't force this movement. So don't force the twist. Just go as far as you can. Okay, should we just do a couple more? So we'll rotate them one way, come back to center, rotate the other, come back to center. Wonderful. Relax the arms down. Let's do another one. So that, again, this is another one to loosen up the spine. It's also a nice stretch for the side of the body as well. So we'll have the hands down by the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to slide the left hand down the left leg. So we're just going to slide the hand down as far as it will go, and then we'll come all the way back up to standing. And then we'll slide the other hand down, and then we'll come all the way back up. And we'll do it again. So again, you don't want to force the movement. So as you flex over, you might feel a little bit of pulling, sort of here in the waist at the side of the body. That's okay. If it's a little bit, that's fine. You don't want to reach down too far, so it's pulling a lot. Because if it's pulling a lot, you might just pull those muscles. You might be feeling a little bit sore tomorrow. So just go nice and gently, nice and steady. Quite like this one, so I think we'll do one more going the other way, shall we? So we'll slide the hand down, and then we'll come all the way back up. Fabulous. Okay, now this time we'll open out the body a little bit more, I think, with some big arm movements. So this time I want you to stand with the feet a little bit further apart. Now I've got my toes just turned out a little bit, so they're just pointing into the corner of the room. We're going to bend the knees again in a minute, so we need to make sure that the knees go over the toes rather than coming forward, because that puts a lot of pressure on the knees. So we'll have another little stretch, I think, okay? So we'll stand up nice and tall. You're going to take your left arm and you're going to send it up and over the top. You're going to flex to the side. So again, we're getting that nice stretch down the side of the body. And then we'll bring the arm back down. Then we'll do it on the other side. So we take the arm up and over the top, and then we'll bring it all the way back down. And again, nice big reach. So again, don't force it. Just work within your range of movements. Wonderful. Okay, I think we can add a bit more into that, can't we? So this is where we're going to add those knee bends in. So we're going to take the arm up and over again. We're going to do that little stretch. Now from here, we're going to bend into the knees and we're going to circle the arm down to the floor. We'll go back up. We'll reach up to the ceiling. Flex to the side again. Bend the knees. Circle down to the floor. And then reach back up. We'll do it one more time. Bend into the knees. Circle around. We'll do that little stretch on the end just to finish. And then we'll bring the arm down. Wonderful. We'll do it again. So we'll do it on the other side. Arm goes over. A little stretch first. Bend into the knees. Circle the arm down. And then flex back over to the side. And again, down into the knees. Nice big circle. Flex to the side. And again, over to the side to finish. Wonderful. I like that one. Nice big arm movements. Feels like you're opening out the chest, opening out the front of the body a little bit and getting a nice stretch as well at the same time. Okay, so I brought the feet back in. Okay, so they're hip width again. I think we'll do a few more arms, shall we? Let's do some nice big arm movements. We'll take the arms up to the ceiling and then we'll float them back down. Now I think we'll do some breathing with this one. So as you take the arms up, take a nice deep breath in. And then breathe out as they float all the way back down. And again, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And out. Wonderful. We'll do it one more time. Fabulous. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little balance check. We're going to see how good your balance is. So you might feel that you've got really good balance. You might already know that you're a bit wobbly, okay? So we'll do a nice simple one this morning. I'll give you two options with the arms. You can do it with the hands on the hips. That one is a little bit more challenging, takes a little bit more control. If you know you're a bit more wobbly, okay, have the arms out in front. That's going to help, okay? Now, to help with the balance, focus on something in front. Just look at something and keep looking at it. Remember that nice posture, standing up as tall as you can. Now, all I want you to do is I want you to float your left foot up off the floor. Now, you can see I'm only floating a little bit. It's only come off a few inches, okay? And just hold it for a second, and then we'll lower it back down. Then we'll do it on the other side. So we peel the other foot up, hold it there for a second, lower it back down, okay? So if you know you're okay, and you're not wobbling too much, hands on the hips. That's it. And then you can see, put my arms out again, I think. You can see, check for yourself how good your balance is, okay? So why is balance important? Well, as we get older, our balance declines. We're not quite as good at balancing as we were when we're younger. So if you're out walking and you trip, you're more likely to save yourself. Okay. The other ingredient that you need for good balance is good core strength, which we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute when we come down to the mat. So, how was your balance? Was it good? Did it need some improvements? We can always improve our balance. Okay, so that was our warm-up. Okay, so that's hopefully got you a little bit warmer. But remember, all of those exercises are really good mobility exercises. So if you wake up with a little bit of stiffness, say you're stiff in the neck and shoulders in the morning, any of those big arm movements that we did, the shoulder rolls at the beginning, those are ideal. Just pick the ones that you felt benefited you the most. Okay, so this time we're going to come down onto the mat. Okay, so this time we're going to try out some exercises on the mat. We're going to start by lying on our back. So what you'll probably need for this is just some support under your head. So I just normally use a hand towel folded. That's normally enough for me. So for most people, a towel is okay. So it just makes it a little bit more comfortable when you're lying there. Okay, so we're going to set ourselves up lying on our back in this position. Okay, so we're going to Have the feet flat, the knees bent. Now, we'll set up with the feet and the knees together, shall we? And then we'll do that little foot fanning exercise that we did when we were standing, where I asked you to fan the heels out and then fan the toes out so that it puts your feet and your knees about hip width apart. We do the same thing on the mat, okay? Now, before we do anything, we're going to find our neutral position. So this is one of the Pilates principles to ensure that we set ourselves up properly so that we are fully supported, especially around the center of the body, and we're not going to hurt ourselves. So when you're lying on your mat now, okay, we haven't done anything, I just want you to get your hand and I want you to slip it under your waist. Now, don't move your back, don't move your spine, just get your hand and see how far it will go under. Now, a lot of people, it slides all the way through, okay? It'll go all the way under because quite often people lie on the mat with an arch in the lower back. If you've got that arch in the lower back, you're not supporting your lower back, so that is when you are likely to hurt your back. So what we need to do is we need to flatten the lower back a little bit more, okay? And slide the hand again, but this time you only really want the tops of the fingers to go under. So there's sort of a very slight curve there. You don't want the whole hand to go through. That is your neutral position. Now, whatever exercise we do in this position now on the mat, we want to be in that neutral position. Because while you're staying here, the core abdominal muscles start working without you actually thinking too much about it, because they've got to switch on and work to keep you in that neutral position. So that's a good starting point if you want to learn how to control and engage those core abdominal muscles. Okay, so we're going to have the arms down by the side. We're going to stay in that neutral position and we're going to do scissor legs. So it's a little knee float. So all we're going to do is float the one knee up, and then we're going to lower it back down. Then we're going to float the other knee up and lower it back down. Okay, and the whole time we want to maintain that neutral position. Okay, so remember, as we maintain that position, those abdominal muscles are working without you thinking about it. They're just doing it automatically so that you can stay in that neutral position. And although this is a really basic exercise, this is one of those exercises that I teach an awful lot, especially if you've got problems with your lower back. It's a great exercise to start with. And because you're in that neutral position, it works those core abdominal muscles, but also the muscles of the lower back. So it's like you're working everything around your waist. It's like you've got a big corset on. Everything helps to support and strengthen you around the center of the body. Okay, so that is going to benefit you when you progress in your Pilates practice and you do more advanced exercises, because you know that you've got that strength and support through the center of the body. You're not going to injure yourself. Let's leave it there. Let's get the arms up. So let's do scissor arms this time. So we're going to take one arm up and overhead. We're going to take it back as far as we can and then bring it all the way back up to the ceiling. Then we send the other arm over the top and bring it back up to the ceiling. And again, the arm goes up and over, and then we bring it back. And again, the arm goes up and over. Wonderful. So on this one, this is a nice one for shoulder mobility. So if you have any stiffness, have any mobility issues where you feel like you've lost movement at your shoulder joint, this is a nice exercise to do. Now, I can take my arms all the way to the floor, but if you can't, don't force it, okay? So if you can only take the arm to about there, then that's fine. Just work within your own range of movement, and the more you do the exercise, hopefully you'll find that you can take it back a little bit further. Let's hold the arms there. Now, can we put those two exercises together? So legs and arms. We're going to work opposite arm to leg. So I'm going to start with my left leg and I'm going to send my right arm overhead. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to float one knee up and the opposite arm goes overhead, and then we bring everything back to center. Then we switch, knee comes up, opposite arm goes over, and then we bring everything back down. And we switch and return. Then we switch and return. Now, while you're doing those arm and leg movements, just check that you're still in that neutral position. Still got that little curve in the lower back. Don't let that lower back arch. Wonderful. I think we'll just do one more, shall we? Here we go. And then we'll lower that foot down. Wonderful. We'll bring the arms down. Okay, so those are our scissor arms and legs. Now, this time, let's look at a little bit of pelvic stability. So when we want to strengthen around the center of the body to support the lower back, ready for those more advanced exercises, it's really important that we have good pelvic control and we can keep the pelvis still. And it's stable, it's fixed into position. And these type of exercise also help us in other ways. So when you're out walking, it can help to support you around the center. It helps to stabilize the pelvis. And it's also good. It also benefits hips as well. So these exercises are quite good for lower back, hips, and that sort of area. So we're going to take 2 fingers and we're going to place them on the hip bones at the front there. Okay, so this time what we're going to do, we've got the fingers here so we can check and make sure the pelvis doesn't move, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send one knee out to the side. No, it's not going to go all the way to the floor. I'm going to send it about halfway, okay? And I'm going to bring it up again. And then I'm going to send the other knee out to the side and then bring it back up again. So it's just going to about halfway to the floor. But the most important thing on this one is that the pelvis stays still. So with the fingertips on the hip bones there, you can check and make sure that there's no wobbling through the pelvis, okay? If you can feel like the pelvis is moving, maybe you feel like rolling to the one side a little bit, just make the leg movement a little bit smaller. Okay, and then hopefully that will help you to keep the pelvis a little more stable. Okay, so it's a nice, easy one. It's a nice one for hip mobility as well. Okay, that one is. Okay, let's lengthen out the body this time a little bit more. Create some length through the front of the body. Most of us are often quite tight in the front of our bodies because we do a lot of sitting, a lot of driving. So this is a nice one to open it all out. So we'll start with the legs again and then we'll add in some arms. So we're going to do our one leg stretch. So we're in our neutral position, we've got that little curve in the lower back. Then all we're going to do is slide one foot away across the mat. And then we're going to slide it back in. And then we're going to slide the other foot away. And then slide it back in. Okay? Now, there's lots to think about on this one. Okay? I'll just give you 2 to think about. The first one is that neutral position. That's the most important thing. Okay. The second one is when you slide your feet back in, see if you can get them to finish in your starting position. So feet hip width at the end rather than the feet coming together. Okay. So shall we add in some arms with this one as well and get some nice, real nice opening through the front of the body. So we'll do opposite arm to leg again. So as one leg goes out, the opposite arm is going to go up and overhead. You're going to take it back as far as you can, and then we'll bring everything back to our starting position. Then we'll switch to the other side. Leg goes out, opposite arm goes overhead, and then we bring everything back, and then we switch again. So we're not rushing any of these moves. We want everything nice and slow and controlled. We're looking for precision in our movements. We need to have everything really controlled, then we get the most out of those exercises. Okay. Now, when you lengthen out that arm and leg, make sure that you're still in that neutral position because that could be a point where that lower back could quite easily arch. Here we go. Last one. And then we'll bring everything back down. Wonderful. I think we'll have a little stretch just to finish off, just to loosen things up a little bit more now. So we're going to keep the feet where they are. I'm just going to have my arms out to the side a little bit more this time. So this is a little side body stretch. So all we're going to do is just let the knees just fall over to the side. Let them fall out as far as you can and just relax into that position. So you get a nice stretch all the way down the side of the body, through the hip. Feels really nice. And if you wanted to, you could turn your head in the opposite direction. And then we'll bring everything back up to the center. Then we need to do it on the other side. So we'll send the knees over the other way. Turn the head. And then just relax into that position for a few seconds. And then we'll bring the knees back up to the center. Wonderful. Okay, so those are all our exercises we're going to be doing in this supine position today. We're going to change position now and we're going to come into side lying. Okay, so a change of position into side lying. Now this is where you will need your cushion. Okay, I haven't got a cushion, I've got a yoga block. Okay, it's just there to support your head. So you'll have to try it out to see how comfortable your cushion is. Okay, depending on the thickness, you might need a couple, you might only need one. Okay, so you just need to try it out and see. I've also got a towel because these yoga blocks are a bit uncomfortable to lie, they're a bit hard. Okay, so we're going to come down into a side lying position. Okay, so we're going to set ourselves up like this. I'm resting my head down and I'm going to bring my arms out in front, okay, like that. Now, I've got the knees bent and my feet are roughly in line with the spine, okay. So this is our setup position for side lying. So in this side lying position now, we're going to do a little bit of strength work. We're going to focus on the hips because side lying is a really good position to be in to strengthen those hip muscles that stabilize the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of leg toning as well, and I've also got a nice stretch to open out the chest for you as well. So let's start with the legs. So we'll do a nice leg lengthening, nice way to open out the front of the hip, this one. So we're going to float the top leg up. We're going to straighten it out. So it's out straight. You'll see it's only about hip height. I haven't taken it too high. Now, all we're going to do from here is we're going to see if we can float the leg up a little bit higher and then bring it down to hip height again. We're going to float it up again and then bring it down to hip height. So you can see I'm not floating too high at all. I'm not really interested in how far I can lift the leg. What I do want to do is think about lengthening the leg. So I've got my leg as straight as I can get it. I'm squeezing the front of the thigh. So I get this nice opening through the front of the hip. It's working the leg muscles at the front because I'm squeezing. It's working the muscles down the side of the leg as I lift it. Okay, so let's just do one more and then we'll hold it out there. Okay, let's do some leg circling. So from here, we're going to circle the leg. Now just keep the circles nice and small. Again, they don't need to be big. Just nice and small is fine. Okay, so this is working on muscular endurance. So it will, the more you do it, your muscles will get less tired. Okay, you'll be able to do more of them. Okay, so we'll just do one more circle. And then we're going to bring the leg into a rest position. So we're going to bring it up into this position and rest it down just to release all those muscles that we've worked. Now I've got one more strength, but I think before we do that, we'll just open out the chest a little bit. So we're going to do an arm opening. So we're going to take the top arm, we're going to open it out, we're going to reach up to the ceiling, and we're going to turn the head, and we're going to follow it, and we're just going to take it just past our sort of center line, our shoulder. Okay, so we just get a nice little stretch through the front of the arm, through the shoulder, through the chest a little bit more. I could probably take mine a bit further if I got the wall there. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring it back down. Okay, and then we'll do it again. So we'll open out the arm, turn the head, follow the hand, and then bring it all the way back down. We'll do it one more time. Open out the arm, and then we'll bring it back down. Wonderful. Okay, so the hip strengthening one to finish off with. This is another one of those core exercises that I use an awful lot, okay, because it is a really effective way to strengthen the hip muscle. So if you've got problems with the hips, then this is the one to do. So we need to fix the pelvis like we did on that exercise earlier when we were standing. So for this one, I want you to get your hand and just put it at the top of your hip there, okay? Put it there and make sure nothing moves. Now, you're going to keep the feet together, and from here, you're going to open out the knee, and then bring the knees back together again. So we open out the knee, and bring them back together. So you can see, again, it's not about a big movement. I'm not lifting that knee too high at all, because really what I want to focus on is keeping the pelvis as still as possible. Okay, so that is working the stabilizing muscles in the side of the hip here. Okay, so we're just targeting one specific area, which is really good for hips. Should we just do one more? Here we go. Let's open and close. And then if you wanted to, you could bring that leg back up into your rest position again. Okay, now we need to do both sides, don't we? So I'm just going to push myself up. I'm going to switch and we'll do it on the other side. So we're going to do the same setup again. So we've got the arms out in front, knees are bent, feet in line with the spine. So we're going to start with our leg lift and lower. So we're going to float the top leg up and lengthen it out. So don't forget, squeeze the front of the thigh. Get that nice opening through the front of the hip. Feel like you're really reaching with that leg now as you just float it up a little bit more. And then bring it back to hip height. And then we float it up again and bring it back to hip height. And again, float up and back down. Float up and back down. Super straight leg. That's it. Let's just do one more. Here we go. Fabulous. Now we're going to hold that leg out again because we've got to do those leg circles. So here we go. So just make the circles as big as you want to. They can be nice tiny ones. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Round we go. Let's just do a couple more. Still keeping that leg nice and straight. Here's the last one. And then from there, we'll bring that leg back up into our rest position. Fabulous. Okay, so let's go back to our arm opening this time. So we'll bring the legs back together. So we're going to open out the arm. So we're going to send the arm up. We're going to turn the head, follow the hands. And then when we can't take it any further, we bring it all the way back down. So this is a really nice one to open out the front of the chest, because the chest is an area that gets really quite tight for a lot of people. Okay, I think most of us, we do an awful lot of sitting. I know I do these days, sitting at the computer. Okay, so it's nice to be able to do these type of exercises. So when we're sitting a lot, when we're driving, the front of the chest tightens up really easily. I think I've done quite a few of these, haven't I? Let's make this the last one. So this is a nice exercise to do, just to open out the chest, release some of that tightness, stretch out those muscles. Let's go back to our last one now that we're going to do in this position. That's the clam. That's our strength exercise again. So I'm going to put my hand here. Make sure the pelvis doesn't move. Keep the feet together. And then open out the knee again. That's it. So you might find that one side feels easier than the other. You might find that you can get the knee a little bit higher. Okay, we normally are slightly imbalanced. One side is usually a bit stronger than the other. That's quite normal. Okay, so we'll open and close. Should we just do one more and then we'll bring that leg back into our rest position. Fabulous. Okay, so those are all of our side lying exercises finished. So just to finish off with, we'll do a little bit of relaxation. We'll have another nice stretch. So just the towel this time, because we're going to roll onto our back again. Okay, so we're going to have a nice stretch through the whole of the body this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten both legs and we're going to send both arms overhead. And we're going to get that nice stretch through the whole of the body. And then we'll release the arms. We'll bring them back down by the side of us. And bring the feet back in. Wonderful. So let's just stay in this position for a second. Let's just focus on our breathing, because the breathing in Pilates is really important. It helps us with the exercises. It makes them a little bit more easier to do, especially as we move on to more advanced exercises. So the breathing that we use in Pilates, we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's just do that, shall we? So we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So just letting the body relax on the mat. Just focusing on that nice deep breath in. And then blow out as much air as you can. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. So that is the end of our beginners workshop. How do you feel now after you've done it? Do you feel energized? Do you feel more relaxed? Maybe the breathing at the end there helped to really relax you. Maybe you feel more stretched. We did quite a bit of stretching today, didn't we? Maybe you just feel a little bit more supple. You've got a little bit more movement. We did a lot of mobility exercises as well in standing and on the mat. So hopefully that you can feel you've benefited from doing a little bit of movement with me today, which I hope that's the case. Even if it was only 1 or 2 exercises that you felt, oh, this feels really good. I hope you'll take those exercises and carry on doing them. Now, there are hundreds of women that I have taught over the past few years, all in their 50s, their 60s and 70s, because that is the age group that I love to work with. I find that they really get the most out of exercise, particularly if they are new to Pilates. Some people are even new to exercise at that age as well, which is great. It's a great time to start because it's those people who are new to Pilates who generally see the biggest gains, get the biggest benefits from starting a regular Pilates practice or just regular exercise, regular movement. And so many of them find that with regular Pilates practice, that they are able to move easier, they have less stiffness, less tension in their body, they feel more supple, everything just feels easier when they move, simply because they've been consistent with their Pilates practice. So remember, when you're going into a new exercise routine like Pilates, it doesn't have to be an intense workout. It can be nice and gentle, like we've done today, to get those benefits. You can do 5 or 10 minutes a day. You can do 2 or 3 sessions a week that are just 10 or 20 minutes, and you'll still get the benefits of moving your body on a regular basis. So now I would love to share with you details about my movement and mobility introductory Pilates course. So this course is ideal if you are brand new to Pilates and maybe you've done a bit in the past but you feel you're a bit rusty and you just want to recap on some of the basics, or you've got a few problem areas, you've got stiffness in your shoulders, in your back, hips, that sort of area. You feel you just want gentle exercise. You don't want to do anything that is going to put too much stress on the joint. Plus, you also want exercises that are safe and that are age appropriate. Okay, all of the exercises in this program are suitable for you if you are 50 plus. Okay, so I've got my list of what is in that course. I've got some nice little bonuses available for you at the moment as well. Now the course is 4 weeks long, okay? It's all pre-recorded. There are no live sessions, so that is really a good way for you to learn. For a lot of people, they like that because they can just dip in and out as and when. So at a time that suits you, you can just go in and do a little routine, okay? It's a 4-week course, and over that 4 weeks, I'm not just going to leave you on your own. I'm going to be there every week with a little bit of email support just to check that you're okay and you're getting on all right and you haven't run into any problems. I've got some great bonuses in there for you at the moment. I'd like to write these down so I don't forget them. We did balancing at the beginning, so I thought you might be interested to have a go at the 5-day balance challenge. That's going to be in there. I've also got a health and wellness video series. I put that in there for you as well. So that is ideal once you've done perhaps in the first couple of weeks, okay, and you've got to grips with the basics. I've also just put together a brand new online studio collection. I do a lot of online live teaching. A lot of those sessions are health and wellness based, so they're nice and gentle. So they are ideal for you as you're coming more to the end of the 4-week program. So these are copies of all my live sessions. So there'll be a good selection in there for you to pick from as well. I've put the best ones in there for you. And of course, if you're one of those people that really does like a live session, you like a Zoom session, and you'd like to meet me in a live session, you also have the option of joining me on Zoom as well. You can get details about that once you're partway through the course as well. So those are the benefits and all the bonuses that are in there. I think that's it. I don't think I've forgotten anything except to say I currently have a special offer running on the course. There's £50 off at the moment. There is a link for you to click on, read all about it, and in there it will give you a special coupon code to pop in at the checkout and get your special discount. One more thing. Oh yes, enrolment is open, but only for the next week. So the doors are going to close in a week. If you feel you can't start the course now, but you really want to get your hands on it, that's fine. While this special offer is running, you can still grab hold of your copy of the course, and because it's all pre-recorded, you can go through it in your own time, even if it's a couple of weeks' time. Okay, so it's yours, lifetime access. Keep going back, do as many times as you want. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session. So remember your reasons for exercising. So why do you want to exercise? Most people that come to me for Pilates, there's always a reason behind them starting a new exercise program. What is your reason for starting Pilates? And hopefully today I've given you just some idea of how it could benefit you with just the basics, just to start you off with. Remember, whatever stage you are at now, with your exercise, whatever level you are at, whether you're experienced to exercise and you've done a lot, or whether you are new to Pilates, even new to exercise, as we get older, it's really important that we keep exercising. Okay, so if you're completely new, starting is a great step. If you already do a bit, keep it going. The interesting thing is, the older we get, the more we should do, because if you think about it, our muscle tone, our strength declines as we get a little bit older. We don't want to lose that. So it's important that we stay active, we stay mobile. And if you remember at the beginning, I said, if you adapt, I've said it again, if you adopt an active lifestyle now, it will help to transform the way that you feel physically and mentally in the years to come. We just need to keep consistent with it. Don't need to do a lot, doesn't need to be intense. Just stay consistent and do just a little bit on a regular basis. So I hope you've enjoyed this workshop. You'll find all the details for the course in the link. Have a read, and I hope I'll see you on the course very soon.